Hello guys, it's me, DaffyDethklok here, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels of the Roses. Yes, the title screen's kind of blocked out just because I went to the main menu, but this is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. It's really fun. It's on the PlayStation 2, and I think it's also on GameCube, but I'm currently emulating it with a PS2 emulator because, well, I don't actually have access to the game right now. I do, in fact, own it. Never got the case. I don't have a case. I got it from a GameStop in one of those yellow slips, and I was like, "This is cool. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's get it." So I do have progress saved on this. It's a save state, but I figured I can get rid of it. So I'm gonna start off with a new game. So essentially, what this is, it's based off the War of the Roses, which occurred in Britain. Yeah, it's based off the War of the Roses, and it's the British Empire in the 1480s. The War of the Roses, see, a power struggle between the houses of Lancaster, the Red Rose, and York, the White Rose, to decide a royal successor, was nearing an end. With the Yorkists well in the lead, I'm just checking to make sure this isn't too loud. With the Yorkists well in the lead, the reign of Richard III was but a step away, and in France, Yuki Henry Tudor, the last Lancastrian heir, was being forced to live a life of exile. The Lancastrian forces were rendered powerless by ancient cards of sorcery wielded by Seto and his 7 followers, who were known as the Rose Crusaders. Served under the flag of Lord Crawford, a powerful Yorkist nobleman. Lacking a duelist to champion their cause, defeat was imminent for the Lancastrians. In England, duel card games were still at the fledgling stage. Thus, the Lancastrians had to look elsewhere for a duel master capable of facing the racing crews in battle. With this in mind, Margaret and Mai Buford of Lancaster secretly requested a high druid to summon a duelist from another age. I'm gonna narrate this. If I feel like it's just unnecessary, you can if this video is gonna be long, I'll probably put in an annotation just like here. Click here to skip the entire intro, because I'm not gonna explain the gameplay that much till like I actually get to game. Ooh. Summoned from the mystical circle of red and white roses, the one capable of harnessing pure power, there was truth to the legend of the Rose Duelist. Lady Margaret, I did it. Now we have the means for defeating the evil forces of Rosencruz. Oh, my apologies. In my excitement, I'd forgotten I was in the presence of the Rose Duelist. Allows me to introduce myself. I am Simon McMorn, High Druid and servant of Lancaster. May I be so bold as to ask the name of by which the Rose Duelist would like to be known? Alright, so I guess while we get here, I'm going to talk a bit. So essentially, this is the War of the Roses, in case you didn't catch. But it's replaced with all the Yu-Gi-Oh characters, and duels are fought out, well, with kind of in a somewhat Yu-Gi-Oh style. I'll get to that later. Right now, we're giving them our name, and I have a very specific name picked, because there's certain names in this game where because in a base game like here, pick one of these decks, and it'll give you 3 choices of kind of deck it'll give you 3 choices of decks, and certain names can give you certain choices. So I'm going with Flame, because there's one deck because I kind of did a bit of a test, like I said, to see if this would actually work out. And Flame was a really good name for this, so I'm gonna go and use that. Let's confirm this. This is the name we're gonna use, Flame. Flame, a fine name indeed. Now here's the situation. The year in 1485. The year is 1485, and you are currently in Stonehenge, to Salisbury, England. I bet I changed this voice, but the British Empire is in turmoil, with the House of Lancaster's rightful claim to the throne being challenged by the Yorkist usurpers. Their power struggle is referred to as the Wars of the Roses, a name based on the badges used by both sides, a red rose for the Lancastrians and a white rose for the Yorkists. Right now, our kingdom is threatened by the Yorkists and their wrongful claim to the throne. All because the Yorkists enjoy the support of the Rose Crusaders and their sorcerous white rose cards. Using our red rose cards, we summoned you, Flame, to this day and age. We hope that your dueling experience will defeat the Rose Crusaders and lead us to victory. You will help us? Of course you will. Foolish of me to even doubt where your loyalties lie. Rumor has it that only the legendary Rose Duelist stands a chance against the power of those enclosed. We'd appreciate any help you can provide against them. Before I forget, I should warn you that the rules to your dueling differ here from those of your age. Here in England, dueling is governed by what is known as the perfect rule. In addition to several minor distinctions, there are two major differences. One is the existence of movement or positioning. The other is the deck leader concept. These are two aspects of dueling that were lost in the process when the ancient sport of dueling monsters was adapted to card form. The perfect rule represents these lost rules that were miraculously revived here in England. Perhaps a practice duel should be better than an explanation, shall we? Since I know what we're doing, I'm not playing a practice duel because this video is going to be long enough. Because the way I'm planning on doing this series is I'm going to do one duel a video. But anyway. First flame, you must select a deck to duel with. It is important that you feel the vibrations of a deck leader. The minute resonations that ring true to your soul. The cards themselves draw their power from the energies of the Ancient Ones. The deck leader acts as an intermediate between the Ancient Ones and the deck wielder, Flame. It is essential that you select a card leader whose rhythm matches the stirrings of your soul. Here are several decks from which to choose. Give it some serious thought and make your selection. Choose carefully, for the deck you select will guide the destiny of your duels. Yep, see, since I picked Flame, I get these different choices. I get Robotic Knight, Fairy King Truesdale, and the Illusionary Gentleman. Now, on the right, see, this is how you kind of determine what you want. So there's many different stats here. So you got the average summon level, which will be different stars. Let's not worry about that right now. Let's just say you probably want a lower one. Because summoning isn't exactly the same. But see, so Robotic Knight, it's a machine type. It doesn't really, it's a machine race. It doesn't matter really. So on the right, here's the stats we really want to worry about. The main attributes and the main races. So in Robotic Knights, we're going to mainly get Dark Earth monsters and machines and warriors. Now that's good because it's really narrowed, meaning that more of my cards should be able to work together. But it's also bad because of a later rule that I'll talk about. See, these are way more varied. See, it's 3 different races and 4 attributes. 4 different races and 4 attributes. It's really awkward, but I'm going to go with Robotic Knight. This is the one reason why I picked Flame, because it's the only one that it's the only one that when I kind of looked up some stuff just to kind of help a little bit. Yes, I wanted to look up stuff because this is hard. This is a hard game. But I want Robotic Knight. I heard was a really good one, so I'm going with it. I see that you have selected your deck. So that's the effect. Alright, right now I'm not going to do impressions of Yu-Gi-Oh characters. I can't. It looks like there's some truth to the rumor that red rose cards are capable of time transformation. Who's there? It's been some time since the Battle of Bonnet, old one. Rosencruz, what brings you here? Only a member of the Rose Crusaders may call me by that name. If you may recall, I told you once before that you only address me as Seto. Or does memory fail you, old man? And you must be the dreaded Rose Duelist. I admit there's a certain aura of power emanating from you. I really just love the look of Seto. This is awesome. So cool looking. I believe an introduction is in order. I am Seto, leader of the Rose Crusaders. There are members of our little group who prefer to call me by the name of C. Rosencruz. I ask you again, what brings you here, Seto? Mind your manners, old man. What else would bring me here? I've come for the Red Rose cards. After all, it was you who showed me how the summoning capabilities would evolve when the Red Rose cards combined with the transport powers of the White Rose cards. You aren't thinking of attempting the forbidden rose summoning. If so, then the red rose cards would never fall into your evil hands. Card sorcery taps into the powers of the ancient ones. By their very nature, each card is a double-edged sword that can cut both ways. The rose cards alone harness tremendous power. There's no telling what horrors one might unleash by combining both red and white. I would sacrifice my own life if need to to prevent any from uttering the spell of doom. The spell of doom, fool. The 16 red and white rose cards grant power over all. Druid legend has twisted the true meaning of these cards. We Rose Crusaders have sworn to create a utopia free from the ravages of war. We intend to accomplish this with the power of the cards, and we shall do so by extending the rule of Richard III throughout the known world. By the way, it was clever of you to form a circle of red roses within the white rose barrier to summon the rose duelist. But you were foolish to come alone. This area is surrounded, and if you wish to leave with your life, you will do so only by handing over the red rose cards. Me, a fool, and what about you? Are you fool enough to actually believe the red rose cards would remain here in my possession? Right after the summoning, I had the cards dispersed among our best duelists to keep them from your tainted hands. Then you leave me with but one option. I shall enlist the aid of your precious rose duelist. You take leave of your senses, And you speak too soon, old man. Heed my words, duelist. If you wish to return to your proper time period, you will require 16 cards of the red and white roses. The red and white positions must be laid out in reverse of the summoning order to send you home. You know the spell. Since you need the 16 rose cards just as much as we do, I propose a partnership. Help us gather the cards, and I shall guarantee your return after we've achieved our ultimate goal. An absurd proposal. Do you think that the Honorable Flame would even lend an ear to your ridiculous proposal? Can you be so sure, old man? Let me see. Simon's side has 8 of the red rose cards, while my side, the Rose Crusaders, has possession of the 8 white rose cards. As the numbers are even, simple arithmetic indicates that you could choose side with either of us. But I'm sure you'll take into account who's winning this war. After all, who is desperate enough to summon you in the first place? I think it's quite clear which side is better positioned to send you home. Flame, heed not the words of this power-hungry lunatic. Simon, must you resort to name-calling? I'm hurt. I'll tell you what, why don't we leave the decision to our dear duelist? After all, Simon, the duelist's future is not for us to decide now, is it? Well, more like past, but who cares? Well, yes, but... Splendid. In keeping with the tradition of the old temple gardens, I offer you a choice, duelist. Here are the 2 roses. The white represents me, and the red for old Simon here. For the sake of justice, choose the red rose. Stand by my side, duelist. Choose the right rose. So right now we get... So yes, this has 2 different storylines. So we get to decide with the quote... with Seto and all the kind of bad guys from the show, or we can side with Simon, who is currently representing Yugi and all the good characters in the show. So, if I might consider actually doing this twice, so I might do it once with one side and once with the other. Right now, I'm gonna go with the Lancastrians. How disappointing. Oh well, you made your choice, and I will expect that for now. I would guarantee your safe passage until you've met with Yugi. After all, I don't want our little game to end too quickly. I look forward to the day when we meet again. Duelist, until then. And yes, but the story is still not over. Don't worry. The friendship pressed. Yes. This part isn't as long. There's Joey Wheeler and Grandpa, and I think that's actually Tristan right there. Flame, I present Prince Yugioh, last Prince of Lancaster, a true Welshman, and of who we all call ourselves Celts. My lord, may I present Flame, the rose duelist. You serve us well, Simon. My mother was wise in summoning you from Scotland. You honor me, sire. Duelist, I am Yugioh. Actually, Henry Tudor is my name, but I find it tiresome. You may call me Yugioh. I'm sure Simon explained our situation, but it's only right that I request your services myself. I need you to return to England and put an end to the threat of the Rose Crusaders. The White Rose cards form a barrier that prevents my armies from setting foot on British soil. Although we Celts have the Red Rose cards, we are but inheritors who are unable to wield their full power. In the hopes of reversing our fortunes, we gambled on a druid legend that spoke of a rose duelist. According to the same legend, one must use a deck whose cost is lower than an opponent's to capture a road card of another color. I'll explain why I don't like that in a bit. I believe that it's important that you keep this in mind. The cost of your deck should not exceed the cost of your opponent's deck. I would like you to note that our resources have been pressed to the limit, requiring us to invade England by August. My troops will land in Milford Haven, Wales, and march onto the face of the enemy at Bosworth Field. Having all of the Rose Crusaders out of commission by this time would be ideal, but that might prove difficult. Any reduction of their force would be appreciated. Right then, let us part company reunite in Bosworth. Simon will provide you with the details as to where and when we'll meet once more. And then now we actually get to the fun part. Let me just check and see how long this has been going. 17 minutes. 17 minutes of story. So really, if I wanted to keep this like the same amount of time, I would duel him first. But because I kind of want since my deck's full of machines. But anyway, now that we're here, any of you guys who kind of just skipped to this point. So essentially, War of the Roses, we gotta defeat people we gotta defeat duelists and claim their rose cards. We currently have 8. We start with the 8 red rose, and then we gotta collect the 8 white rose. So the rules of play here is that we can only duel people with costs. We can only duel people if our deck cost right here, the DC down here, down here, is lower than theirs. So see, Weevil Underwoods or Chester is at 854. We're at 830, so we can duel him. Now, if I were to arrange my deck and it cost more, then I won't be able to duel him because reasons. Now let's actually just get into the game, just because Weevil Underwoods kind of shows a bit how it works, and I feel like it's just a good one to start. I always start with Weevil, even though because of my deck I won't have an advantage. So let's go. Weevil Underwood. Hee, so you're the legendary Rose Duelist. Prepare to face the sting of my insect deck. I can't do it. I can't do it good. I can't do Yu-Gi-Oh impressions very well. Alright, now this is where it's completely different. This is Yu-Gi-Oh with a board game. So we have our deck leader right here. He has our life points, and it's a piece we can move around the board. And he's also we use him to summon. So see when I hit square, I can go. This appears around my robotic knight. These are the places where I can play a card. So let me play a card here. Alright, so here's our hand. We always will have 5 cards no matter what. So there's several different things we can do. We can either just play a card, or we can combine cards. So the way it works is we'll combine 1 card at a time based on the order we pick it. So one will start at the bottom, then it'll combine with 2. Then it will combine 3, then 4, then 5. But see, if the combination doesn't work, then it'll just be wasted and stuff, and it's not good. So There's not much I can really do with this hand. So one thing I'm going to do is just kind of try to get rid of these cards. Because there's no Yeah, I have a fiend. Oh, yes. And also, I'm very bad at this, but there are tiles. The board is made up of tiles, each representing a different kind of landscape. Now, monsters get an advantage or disadvantage based on the landscape. You can tell if they get an advantage or disadvantage based on a symbol beside their attack points. You can see right here, Fiend has a T with a down. That means he's at a disadvantage, meaning he's weaker in this landscape, which is why he's at 100 and 300. Let's say if I were to go to this landscape over here, then most of my like my Steel Scorpion and my Zombie Warrior will be stronger because they are strong because they get an advantage in the Wasteland. Each monsters can have different effects and they have different stats. And above them, they all have stars. We gain 3 stars at the start of each of our turn, and we pay stars to play cards. Now, with the combining rule, it takes the stars at the higher cards. So this one, since it has 3 stars, it'll cost 3 stars to do this. So I'm doing this just to get rid of cards because I really don't think this is gonna work. Because these cards, it's good for combining, but that's about it. Typhone, I kind of want to hold on to, just because there's a fusion I can do with him. I'm actually going to pull up a list right now, because I don't know them by heart. So I actually have Typhone in my deck, yep, so there's a lot. So let's just go ahead and do this. I'm going to get rid of 3 cards. It'll only cost me 3 stars, though. So I'm going to play him. So then we can go and pick our cards and move them around. Now, cards can only move 1 space, except if they're in defense mode. If they're in defense mode, they can't move. Or, if they're on a landscape that they get an advantage in. So say if my Zombie Warrior was in the Wasteland, I could flip him face up, and then he could move 2. But for now, I'm going to keep him face down and in defense mode. So kind of after that, it plays like regular Yu-Gi-Oh rules. You can activate, you can only play 1 card a turn. So right now, no matter what, even though I have a spell in my hand, I can't use it. You can only play literally 1 card. And the way you have to use spells or traps, you have to literally set them down on the field. If you want, if it like requires, you can move it around. And then play it like that. Alright, so right now there's a really cool one that I really want to do right now. So suppose it... Oh, and Pyro's getting an advantage, but I don't want to play him, is the problem. Pyro's getting an advantage in the forest. I'll play a simple burglar. There's a reason for it. So, yeah, I'm gonna do the fusion thing. If I get a warrior, then there's supposedly there's one I've wanted to try because I don't know how good it's gonna be, and that's exactly why I want to use it. Generally, it's just a combination of 2 cards, but if I get a warrior, I have a winged beast and a pyro in my hand already. But see, if I can summon a crimson sunbird. I don't know how good that is, so I'll look it up right now. Oh yeah, battles are played on these cutscenes, but you can cancel them, and I probably will. It's a pretty good card. Crimson Sunbird seems pretty good. So see, now Kuwagata Alpha is out here, so now he'll be able to attack me. You're Rabby. Just because I know it's not worth it, I'll swap to defense mode. Then I will summon my dinosaur here. Since I know it'll be able to overpower it. So essentially the way this works is that monsters will gain an additional 500 attack and defense points in areas that they are strong in. And they will lose 500 attack and defense in areas they're weak in. Yeah, and the way battles work is so wherever the defender is, that's where the battle will take place. So if Kuwagata Alpha were to attack my Urabi here, it would take place on the wasteland, meaning my Urabi would have the advantage and Kuwagata wouldn't. So, yeah. And of course, life points are still a big system here. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm being honest here. There's a lot. You could see why this game is complicated and difficult. See, this is the one thing there's one thing I don't like about this game. It's hard to actually get cards. Like, to get cards, you have to win duels. Then you play a little slot machine at the end. Oh, I forgot this. Here, I gotta skip it, but yeah, there's a little graphical glitch here. Ignore it. It's probably just the emulator, but it's all the fields are always built towards the opponent's advantage, and because you have to have a weaker deck than them, it's kind of hard to win. See, right now I'm stuck with machines and dinosaurs and stuff, so I can't actually get an advantage here. But luckily, there are cards in your you can get field spells and play those, and it actually can work out for. Thank God, yes. So I'm actually just gonna move over here, in my turn. I want to check something really. It's a wing beast, so I won't get an advantage, but it's still a pretty strong card. So now, since I have it, I can use Warrior, Wing Beast, and Pyro. Okay, it lied to me, but Fire Yaru still gets an advantage, so I'll take it. I'm sorry, I'm using a cheat sheet right now. It said Warrior, Wing Beast, plus Pyro, and it would just magically happen. I don't know how the heck you do that. I don't know how you fuse 3 at one time, but who cares. So my plan is to kind of just keep my monsters face down. Urabi, I'm just leaving here for defense. So yeah, so you play a lot of cards on the field. You can play different you can play spells and traps, move them around. It's really good to move around spells and traps, specifically the field spells, like the Wasteland card, because that's how you get your advantage on the enemy. You make a huge area into the field you have an advantage in, then you can go ahead and take an advantage. Then you can go and strike. So way field spell cards work is it places that field type 2 blocks away from, well, where you activate it. So like this. This is the area it'd have control over. It's like this. So let's actually see what we can do right now. It'd be really cool if I could get a machine. Perfect! I could just play Steel Scorpion on top of your Rabby here. And then they fuse together in order to form Cybersaurus! And see, it's gotten even stronger. So let's send Fire Yarwur down. It's definitely not the strongest, but it's at least something I got right now. So there's 2 different ways to win. Of course, reduce your opponent's life points to 0. Or you surround them. Completely surround them so they literally cannot play a single thing. Then you automatically win. So say if you were to get them in the corner, So say if I were to get to this corner and then he placed, my opponent would place his monsters around me like this, I would automatically lose because I'd be cornered and surrounded. So I got an insect here, but it's not a very strong one. It's very hard to determine what to do. This fiend, I looked through this. And I don't see a single insect fusion, which is weird to me. Like, I'm gonna actually. Never mind. I can't control F on this, but. So whatever I should do, I should not use Invader from Another Dimension, which is a fiend, but it looks just like a freaking mantis. But Winged Cleaver I could use just to kind of try to invade. This might be a tactic, because you could try just sending YOLOing over to the YOLOing over there and trying to get one good hit in, but it's still an extremely risky move. Like, right, this is literally how it starts. I can't do anything till I get a Wasteland card or start playing more machines. Because luckily, I started off with one card that actually makes this possible. Limiter removal. It's the only thing that saves me. Well, see, now that Cybersource is a machine, it's affected by limiter removal. So if I just play a bunch of strong machines, then I activate my limiter removal card. Oh, yes! The one card I needed, but... Yeah, you can check into the details here. See, it boosts the attack and defense of all machine monsters on the field by 600. So yeah, that's good. Because since they don't have a disadvantage in the forest, I can still destroy all of his monsters. Royal Guard, 2,500 attack points. That's normally the attack of a boosted monster. And then I can use Wasteland. So that's something I'm actually going to play and try to move in. So my plan is if I have to, I activate it prematurely, but I want to move it here. Because then it's going to take up a bigger area. Because see, what's going to happen is I move it too close, Kuwagata's going to move in and take it out. I'm going to keep inching these two guys ahead. And move Wasteland over here. Since spells and traps can't move 2 spaces, and as soon as you flip them over, they activate, I'm kind of limited with what I do here. Fire! No, it's Dungeon Worm! Fire Yarbu doesn't stand. Oh, I forgot to do the thing. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Ah! See, Dungeon Worm's now spellbound, and it's not my monster's effect. I don't think. I think it's his own card's effect. Let me check it really quick. Oh, I can enter labyrinth squares. I'm guessing it was my monster's effect. I didn't even know it had an effect. But I summon Royal Guard! So I'm gonna play it incognito in defense mode. Set this card to defense mode. And the next turn I'll spring my Wasteland. That way I can get a big section of it and I'll be able to fight. Because my plan here is, see, if I take over the middle of the board, he'll have to kind of try to go around just to catch me. And then I'll be able to fight everything he has. So now I activate Wasteland. Oh, he blocked Wasteland. I didn't even know there's something you could do. That's cool, actually. Actually, just because I need to get... I summoned the bat. Damn. see, please don't move 2 up. Thank God.
Dungeon Worm's going to destroy my wind cleaver.
No! See, now, I forgot to do it again! Alright, I'll do it this time. I'm sorry, I'm just busy trying to win. Goblin's Secret Remedy gains an extra 1,000 life points. Yeah, some of the cards affect their difference, like Sparks, you literally only take 50 damage. There's zero reason to have that card, ever. Like, in this game, I can't think of a single reason to have it. Besides, like, I just need to have a random card.
Now I activate Wasteland, transforming the field around us into Wasteland.
Ooh, Metal Dragon's a good one.
Now I fuse them together in order to form Metal Dragon.
Royal Guard advances. So I'm gonna summon. From now on, I'm gonna kind of keep trying to summon my other monsters, the other machines I get in my hand. Then I'm gonna trigger limiter removal.
Dungeon Worm doesn't have enough power to get past my Royal Guard.
I forgot to do it again! Alright, this time I'll get it. I got it. Don't worry. Yeah, don't... We're gonna be seeing that thing a lot just because... Apparently it can't emulate that part right, but it doesn't really matter to me. It's just a really fun game, which is why I decided, yeah, let's do it. Now first, options... Abbreviate.
I summon Pendulum Machine.
I'm gonna flip it face up because insects are generally weak in my opinion. So if they come on the wasteland, I'm safe. So as long as I keep my men on wasteland, I'll be fine. I'll summon one more. Yes, so there's very many good cards in this, and I love it. I love this. It's like, this can be great if you can get like just a few targets of limiter removal and keep them on the field. You were golden, because this game's first nothing but attack. I summon Space
Megatron. Cybersaurus, take out Kuwagata.
Negate attack.
You can't negate this one. Royal Guard, take out Kuwagata.
See? Emblemo. Yeah, it's weird. I don't get it. I don't get why it does that, but... Let's move Metal Dragon in. Just flip Pendulum Machine up. Space Megatron's the only one I can face down. Now this turn I'm just going to use limiter removal because I have enough targets for it. Yeah, I don't get why the computer has to do this. It's weird in my opinion. Let me just check the cameras that's still on me. Yeah, there's a lot of things on screen. So the emulator doesn't lag when I'm not recording, but since I'm recording, of course it's gonna lag. Of course. Let's actually flip Space Megatron up.
Cybersaurus attack. Destroy Hunter Spider, the laser cannon.
Now, I don't think they have to be face up, but I'm doing it anyway.
I cast Limiter Removal, increasing the attack and defense of all machine monsters on the field.
Now, look at that.
Bam!
Those points! There's like nothing they... Now, Metal Dragon they could probably get over, but... Royal Guard, probably not. Actually, never mind. Yeah, they could get over. Royal Guard is probably the hardest one to get over. Metal Dragon, they could probably barely get over.